Welcome back to another episode of SEO Talk Spaces. We are on episode 19. Sorry. We are on episode 89, and it's good to be back with another topic which is probably doing more rounds than anything that we know. It's all about content creation, AI tools, leveraging AI tools to scale content, and all around it. So we thought that probably now is the right time to talk about it because does faster content really mean better content? So let's talk about this. I am Malhar and I am joined by with my co-host Parth, and we are going to take up this topic along with a few of you who will come on join us on the speaking panel. Do not hesitate. Like Parth always says, this is an opportunity for you to be here. Practice your speaking skills also. Probably you land up a speaking gig after this. So please do not hesitate. Join us. And before we begin, over to Parth to just set the context.
Yep, it's always great to be back to this SEO Talk community. It feels like home, and it's always a great learning process before we get started with the week. So Mondays are always special with the SEO Talk community here, and today's topic is very, I think so. It's having a lot of discussions going on in the space over Twitter and LinkedIn and stuff like that, other platforms as well. So everyone out there, with the help of AI tools, they want to scale their content. But where do we draw the line? What are the do's and don'ts? What are the challenges for um, the content that we produce using AI? What are the long-term outcomes of that? So let's get into the weeds of all the nuances, and let's check out how will these content pieces will look in hindsight. So, yep, over to you, Malabai.
Superb. So let's get started. And I guess the first point is usually all around from an SEO perspective. Does AI generated content? Because we see a lot of people doing it. Either the easy way, just writing few prompts, and there are few others who are probably writing detailed prompts, right, doing detailed integrations and all the stuff, right? But I would say at this point of time, everyone is probably trying to scale content generation efforts using AI in some form or the other. So, in your opinion, does it really hurt SEO? What?
Yep. Um, I think so. These AI tools have been very handy, and um, there's a way to use these tools, and very less, like very few people out there are leveraging it in the right way. So let's go back to the fundamentals. How are these AI tools producing content? These LLMs are trained on the existing data available on the web, on the social media platforms, and stuff like that. So it has its own limitations. They are not fully aware about what brand you're writing about, what audience you are talking to, um, what are your ideal customer profiles. And if you generate content directly from AI, it's like the textual content out there on the web is super saturated, and over and above that, these LLMs are trained on that saturated textual content on the web, and you producing content, so it will produce content like any other competitor out there or any other normal niche competitor out there. So it is very, very important for you to understand how does specialized human content writer write a content for a brand which is into, for example, fintech space, having knowledge about that particular tech solution in the finance niche, knowing about the audience and what stage are they in, what funnel and what platform are they going to publish that content, and how are they going to integrate their product or service. So there are a lot of questions to be answered, and very few folks out there know how to prompt and get the content right. And still, like even if you do all the detailing, you need a human editor to give a human touch to that particular content piece. But yeah, I would want to know more thoughts. I think we have a lot of known faces here. Gagan has also joined, and yeah, we have three women in SEO folks like Dipali, Nidhi, and Divya. They are also here. So we would want more women in SEO participation in SEO talk. So feel free to jump in. Yep, over to you, Mavi.
Superb. No, definitely. So what you mentioned is indeed right. But again, I'll go back to say a little while ago before all this AI generated content was commoditized, right? So I would say probably ChatGPT came along, commoditized that okay, no, you can do this faster, you can scale this and all this stuff. But see, even few months before that, or probably an year back before ChatGPT came in, we I believe we had Jasper and few other tools also. So content or AI generated content had been around even before it was say normalized, if I can use that word. So and there itself I guess we saw the impact in terms of the quality of content going down, because many of us knew that okay, this is not written by human, and our interaction with that content was minimal. And the other part was also, say, Google's own learning algos. They could detect certain patterns and define that okay, no, those content probably will not be ranking high because it is not written by human. Today, it is not the case, right? Today, probably uh, most of us know that all, and this is my opinion, say more than 80% of the content generated today would be from any AI tool. And see, even when I talk to my content writers, or when I'm hiring content writers, or when even I'm talking to my PR teams, I say, okay, it's okay to use an AI tool to write content. So I'm wondering that are we ourselves putting the bar lower and saying that it's okay to have crappy content because we want to scale it? I'm just putting a thought here, right? So are we okay just for ranking, or say just saying okay, let me publish more frequently rather than focusing on say writing in details, having a depth of content? Yeah, Gagan is also your part. Yeah, Gagan.
Yeah, yeah, Gagan. If you want to add your perspective on this one, or you want me to answer that?
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible.
Actually, I was not able to like hear anything. Like it just started coming right now. I'm not sure like what's wrong with the spaces, but Path, you can go ahead. Yeah, I will.
Sure, no problem. Okay, so I think so. The content has been commoditized, and it's been like, how do you measure, like, for example, let's take a very simple example of the SERP meta titles. So if you search for a keyword like SEO content audit, okay, and then you see there are a lot of blogs ranking from Ahrefs and WordStream and a couple of other. So when there's a human involvement, you go and add your creativity, and you write your titles in a way which has got some curly brackets plus templates or something like that. So you play around with your creativity. Now, if you are even if you are prompting to write a piece of content, the whole content generation, I think so. It's going to hallucinate after a while, like after producing 300, 500 words of content. So, for example, if AI content generation was not in, if it were not in the picture, how would you approach it? Like, you'll do your audience research, you'll find your ICPs, and then you define it, and then you start doing normal keyword research on Google search in a specific region. For example, if it's Australia, you'll do your research in google.com.au on desktop, on mobile, and then you figure out, hey, now there were tools, like we're using tools like Market Muse, using tools like Surfer SEO, just to identify what are the top 10 blogs or particular content pieces ranking, and what are their headlines, and all of those things were being scrapped by these tools. Okay, then you create a list, and then you know that, hey, these are the normal word count, like 2000 word count is the on an average the word count, and these are the common headings that have been used. And then you take it step by step, and then you try to identify the gaps, like, okay, all the like 7 8 out of 10 results are using the same flow. How can you differentiate? How can you add more value? How can you change the content format? So each and every step requires human intervention, addition of like tweaking of prompts and adding creativity, and then validating it, and then moving on to the next step. Then you find keywords, then you kind of segregate keywords using an intent tool, whatever tool you prefer, Keyword Insights or any other tool in the market. And then you generate an outline. Now, because AI is only trained on the existing content on the web, it will follow the same structure. But if you take it step by step, section by section, like if you have a defined process for your intros of your blogs, for the final thoughts or conclusion of your particular blogs, it should have a particular style, particular tone that you should follow. So these are all the things that requires a lot of meticulous like changes in the prompts, and all of this doesn't like it's a never perfect process. Like, you keep on improving the process, and you keep on changing and tweaking your prompt. After a week or two, you will find, like, okay, this is the process that I can follow, and I can produce probably 100, 200, 500 pieces of content. But again, like, there'll be a lot of incremental improvements required along the way, and a lot of QC and human intervention is required, even if you are producing content. And so far, I think so. The Sonnet 3.5 from Claude is the model I prefer. It has more conversational capabilities. So yeah, this has been my process, but still, like, I'm not yet there. I've been experimenting a lot. It still keeps on hallucinating, and yeah, even after doing all of this, like, you have to keep the editor or the human editor who is going to review the content in the loop. Like, what prompts have you provided? What creativity, what thought process have you gone through? So they should be already aware that, hey, okay, these are the steps they need to check upon. This is where still human creativity is required. So it's not an easy process for a brand to set up the whole content process.
Oh, that was a very nice detailed answer. Gagan, you have a take? Okay, Deepal is also on the stage. So Deepali. You want to have a perspective you want to share?
Yes, I think what will be important is not like how much content we are creating or anyone is creating. What will be important is like if the content is more sort of experience driven. So it's almost like came to a point where anyone, like we have so many people over here, anyone of us can write an article about SEO, and that article will be a good enough introduction to SEO for a newbie like who don't know anything. Like let's say someone just came out of high school, and that person came to read that article, they will walk away with knowing something about SEO. So, and ChatGPT can do that too. What else is left is experience of each one of us. So let's say I am working with some e-commerce clients, and when I am talking about SEO, I will talk in context of my experience, like this is what I am doing, or this is the kind of the results I'm driving for the clients. And Parth will talk about, let's say Parth is working with publishers, and he will talk about his own strategies. And I think that same applies for when we are creating content for the clients. It's not only just the generic information that is done forever, because ChatGPT can just create it. Like why would Google rank your generic information when Google can just generate it using AI overviews or their Gemini model? So the thing that is left is experience driven content, and people need to share more of like what they are going through and how they are doing it rather than anything generic. So for example, like recently Google also started to show AI overviews for product comparisons, where they are doing side by side comparison. I think someone shared an example of like two different bicycles where Google was like picking specific attributes around like the wheel size or the durability or the timing, like things like that. So if it's almost like SEOs via e-commerce sites through the merchant center feeds are providing like different specific attributes of the products, because we want to show up in Google Shopping more. Google can take that merchant center feed and do the side by side comparison. Then what else is left? People who are using those products and talking about it. So if there is a comparison of Nike versus Puma, Google can like take any e-commerce site who is selling Nike or Puma shoes and can from their merchant center feed can fetch the information about those shoes, size, durability, how long it can last, these kind of like basic stuff. But what else is left is experience of someone who has actually used those shoes for running, or let's say for going to gym or something like that. So I think that it's not amount of the content that will matter, it's the quality, in the sense that how much experience you are sharing, not just the information that you are talking about.
So in principle, I agree, right? And I guess most of us here would agree that yes, depth of content is necessary, but a large chunk of SEO agencies or content writers today are still selling at okay, you need more content, right? Because end of the day, more content is written, more content is produced, more money for them. And the entire debate, right, shifts back to more content, but then how can I still give quality? So do you want to just talk about that? Because end of the day, we are still there are people who will still say, okay, no, use this, you scale content. You do this, you scale content.
I think, of course, like having more content is definitely like beneficial, especially because of like ChatGPT search and Gemini RAG. It's almost like pulling content. So if you have more content, you are like there is more chances that you're gonna show up in ChatGPT search or this Bing Copilot or Google's AI overviews. So definitely more content is good, but you have to just make sure that it's experience driven, because otherwise it will not perform in search anymore. And with the recent updates in their quality raters guidelines that Google did in last week of Jan, they are also highlighting it very very clearly that what we want is main content on any page should be original, and there should be additional value than anywhere else on the open web. So which means like they are clearly telling anyone that if you are creating a new page, at least the main content on that page should be original and there should be highlight of experience as well. But if you are talking with like clients, when working with clients, we are of course like trying to build the content strategy and content planning. And in that too as well, I think it's really really important to add in some stuff around experience of using the product. And for that I think it's we need to build some strategy around like working with third party as well, because an agency producing content for a website is not able to like properly input the experience driven stuff in there. So like for example, like house fresh, we everyone knows that if I am writing an blog post for an air purifier seller, it's good for me to contact house fresh and get a quote from like Danny, who works who is a writer at house fresh. So adding that quote in my blog post on an e-commerce site will be something that Google values more. So I think that is the kind of the strategy that will work, and agencies need to find sort of like the experts, niche experts, and get their opinion, add those opinions in their content as well. That's what Google will be rewarding ultimately. So
No, again, like I say, agree with everything you say, and I know I'm probing little further on the same thing. And if anyone else wants to pick up this thread, please join on the panel, because this becomes very interesting. And while we are talking, I just did a quick search and say how to make a burger. Right, very simple. There are about 57 million results. So if someone, a new burger place is coming up and they want to rank for the term how to make a burger, right? How in the L is he or she is going to drive the traffic based on whatever you have shared? Because experience definitely, because that person is new in the industry and there are already 57 million uh, say results at this point of time. Yeah, Parth, Dipali, whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, Deepali, please go first.
Um, so the burger place has to reinvent themselves, not just targeting keywords like how to make a burger. Instead, they should be focusing more on like how to make vegan burger, how to make vegetarian burger. So if you like, probably you have to niche down a bit and more provide more specialized content, as Gagan mentioned, as Parth mentioned earlier. That would help a lot for brands, for new brands target entering into the market. And apart from
Vegan
that,
burger has 10 million results. No, I get your point, right? I get it, because we probably have to go long tail, etc. Again, I agree from an SEO perspective what we are talking, right? So tomorrow, if I'm going to sell to a customer of mine, I'll say, okay, you please write about how to make a vegan burger and don't write about how to make a burger. But the person searching is probably not searching for how to make a vegan burger. The person who is searching is still searching for how to make a burger.
Um, uh, yeah, I think so. If Deepali, if she
there
wants to
is a
answer, then
mismatch of intent here, and probably I'm not sure for the right answer.
No, that's perfectly here. So it's okay not to understand, because again I'm just trying to pick your brains here in terms of, because this is the
yep.
typical problem when it comes to say you want to scale, but say everyone talking about scale and say okay, hub and spoke model, you do this model, that model, but is the is the searcher or search intent really there?
Um, just to add a little bit of context here, I think so. We have been we are so much into the weeds of textual content that we just have the informational discovery, commercial intent, and those type of 4 or 5 intent matches. But I think so. The video content, the image content. If we look at the results, that a lot of results, it's showing the Pinterest, it's showing a lot of short form social media snippets from Instagram, from TikTok as well, in whatever regions it's allowed. So is it textual intent? Is it visual intent? That is also very important. So how to make a burger? I think so. Someone is quickly looking forward to watch a video, because uh, that includes an entity, burger, a food. I think so that people would want to directly refer to how the other person is making, what ingredients are being used, what cooking. I think so things are used. So it is very uh, it's very subjective in that case. So one way of looking at it is it a visual intent out there? So in that case, again, the discoverability depends on the textual content, but the focus of the content should be vertical. A video of like 60 seconds or 90 seconds should be embedded in the very first half of the content, uh, which the user is looking for. And even if Google finds it valuable, it will directly show the video out with a blog URL or whatever. So that is important. Apart from that, I think so. There's a lot of content out there, and for example, if you have been producing very niche content for your cult audience and all of that, you start getting in front. My question to the folks who have joined here, I have a curious take on this one. So, for example, if you have been producing very niche, very unique content, and you built your brand in like, for example, next 6 months, and people reach out to your brand, like people checking for content, that have you published any new content, people referring to your content, eventually your content is available to public and all the LLMs. Like, would you make it confidential? Would you make it only possible for Google AI overviews, like Google Gemini bots and stuff, to pick up your content? Or would you also allow Perplexity and OpenAI and other DeepSeek and other models to pick up your content? Because at the end of the day, Google search has the major market, and if you want to give access of your content, because if you have that unique content edge, and again, if your content is being picked up and used for the training model, and you never know, again, like a year down the line, people are publishing content which is like, which has got a similar angle, similar in perspective. So yeah, uh, over to the panel here.
Hey, sure. I think Gagan, probably you got disconnected or something. So I just sent you a request again. So if you want to join up. Uh, so again, good conversation going. So I don't know if we have the uh, what we can say is the right answer at this point of time, but all of us are learning some of those stuff, understanding how things are working with all the AI generated content, etc., coming in. But I just wanted to pick up or pick from the last thread in terms of whenever you probably see content and understand this is an AI generated content, would you trust that content? If yes, why? Or because for me, it is, I'm still skeptical. But what about you? And if someone wants to probably convince you, how should they be different? Okay, yeah, we have some new speakers joining in. So, Dipali, you just raise your hand. So, probably if you want to go ahead first. Sorry,
Yeah,
Parth.
yeah, sure, Malhar. So it's if it's the content is 100% generated by AI, then probably I would have to look at the sources from where the information is coming from. And based on that, probably I try to like trust the information. But then again, if it is, I would rather trust real human content more, who has added their own experience into it, and they have went through, for example, recipe blogs, right? So there are tons of recipe blogs out there. If you try and make a recipe, and sometimes I mean, I don't know, it's not 100% successful, so probably you can make out that those recipes are probably they have taken some inspiration from other blogs and they have just generated the content. But if there are some recipes with some tips, additional tips, like for example, if you want to make a matcha mug cake in an oven, so how should you proceed? Like for example, use a narrow ceramic mug or a wide ceramic mug. So these kind of small hints would differentiate, in my opinion, and I would trust more on this. But again, at the times, whatever AI generate, if you like, especially for recipes, if you try, it also works out because it has taken from information from all over the places. So it's hard to say.
Sure. Thanks, Parth. Okay, Shruti, Faizan, you have joined. Yeah, Faizan, you want to go? Faizan, if you are speaking, yeah.
Yeah. I actually am just listening. I'm trying to, understand what the conversation is going on.
Okay.
I have not actually, know the question for now.
Sure.
That's okay. That's okay. I think so. We'll come back with the question. Shruti, if you want to add something, please feel free to share your perspective.
Hi all. Nothing as such, but I did also join in between. So what I heard was whether you'd be trusting the AI content or not. So yes, I guess that was the question. Yes, then definitely I'll not be trusting the AI generated content. And the reason is simple. It will not give me the answer or the solution which I'm looking for. Like as someone earlier said, I guess the Pali or someone earlier said that experience based content will help you, and to some extent I do agree for that. And also now each and everyone can go to ChatGPT and just get the basic knowledge about it. But when you're stuck and you're feeling some kind of a challenge at that time, experience content really helps. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So if the question was whether faster content is better, then my opinion would be, I'm sorry to say, but it would be like it depends. Okay, like if you have a news website or finance related website, like you have to update the information, and for example we have a uh, train booking website, something like that. So at that moment, I guess generated content using AI and shipping it faster would be better.
Yep. I totally agree. I think so. If the content format is very short, like uh, less than 750 words or around 500 words, and it's a structured approach, and if you're producing content for a programmatic SEO where programmatic SEO pages, and we have probably less than a dozen of dynamic elements, but the rest of the content is structured enough. In that case, I think so. Producing content, so that was the point I was coming to. If faster content will only work for short form content where the structure. So the problem with generating content through AI on a scale. So, for example, if I'm working with a client and if the client is publishing 2 content pieces a week, 8 content pieces a month, and now the client wants to scale it to like they want to publish 50 content pieces in a month instead of 8. So if I am to scale their blogs from 8 to 50, the challenge is probably one blog would require 1500 words of content, the other would require 2200, 2500, depends. Depends on the research. But when I tried and tested producing in a batch of 10, 20 content pieces, I think so the tone and the depth of the content was missing. Although it did a very good job with the structure and the headings and stuff. But when we look at the interconnection of one topic to another, how it interlinks, all of those dots were missing. So in that case, I think so. Before generating content, it's important to do a lot of experimentation with one framework where you have a lot of personalization element involved. For example, if that content is being represented on the name of the probably the CEO of the company. Now, the CEO has appeared on 10 different podcasts, and the CEO has been writing content on LinkedIn for last 3 years about that same particular brand. Then scraping all of those past anecdotes and making sure to train your model or where you're writing content on that, and making sure that your content format also includes those personalization and refers back to what the CEO has said. So if it comes from that experience into that content, and a lot of touch points that, as mentioned by the CEO back in this date, whatever, on this podcast, like, so there should be a real experience based anecdotes in the content to make sure that the content has been written and reviewed by a human. Uh, but apart from that, I think so structure and the flow, everything probably can be maintained. So this is my way of like this is my approach, but I'm still improving on it. But if you folks have any such creative approach, uh, please do share it across. Would be more than happy to bounce ideas and learn.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And I know we still have 20 minutes to go on this, so I'll go ahead with the next one in terms of, and this again takes a little interesting turn from whatever we have conversed so far. So, publishing low quality content fast, or delaying high quality content. What would be worse for a brand? Because uh, and then again, I'll take the example of multiple publishing houses where they keep on delivering content at scale on different subjects, etc. They get benefits, say probably uh, from their domain value itself, or say from their, and we have all heard about the reputation abuse, etc. So question goes in the this way in terms of what is worse, publishing low quality content fast, or delaying high quality content, or both? Parth, Dipali, Faizan, Shruti.
Well, see, I would like to select K. If you are publishing low quality content, then it has to be in a format that can be consumed faster. For example, for example, you can create shorts or a bite-sized tweets or something like that, that can be, that do not take so much time to read or consume. So if it is low quality or it is not useful, the person can just read it, glance it, and just say, okay, this is not, because I do not find any kind of content low quality. It's all subjective that whether a person who is actually an audience find that content useful or not, because sometimes we see that this is a low quality content. Let's say this is a very long paragraph, and we will be like, this is a very poor content because I like to read in points. in bullet points. So this is the subjective part. But if there is a low quality content using generated AI, then it should be created in a way that can be consumed faster, like reels or something. But if you are creating slowly and making a very long form content, that then blogs and guides and books, that will be helpful then. So in my case, yeah, you have to balance both.
Super.
Yep, I think so. One differentiating factor is even if you do a ton of research, you produce a very unique content. It's all human based, experience based content, and you do not use any AI tools. But for example, if you have 50 writers and you produce 500 content pieces a month uh, with the help of 50 human writers, again, it boils down to how the content consumption happens and what are the creative ways in a way that the readers are consuming that content. So for example, if we refer to backlink or blogs, like when Brian Dean used to publish content pieces in the year of 2018, 1920, if we look at their look at his blogs, it were those blogs were visually appealing, like divided chapter wise, color coded, singular lines, readability, and then every 50 to 100 words there was some image, some chart, some data statistics to prove that. So all of these things make your content unique, because textual content is commoditized up to an extent. Even if you have unique content, it would be copied, it would be used by LLMs to train their models and stuff like that. But no one can copy the UX. There'll be very few folks who would try to copy the whole UX, and so I think so that is where, so content UX is going to be game changing in the end. It's already there since last couple of years, but it's going to be prominent going forward.
And I will also add the relatability factor. For example, if a person is a doctor or a nurse and he is reading about a medical content, then if the website is around a medical design, see there are so many medical symbols and all that thing, so it kind of create a connection there. So yeah, of course UX and that kind of relatability, because marketers would like to read a blog on marketing if it is coming on a marketing blog. Like no one wants to read a marketing blog on a, let's say, medical website.
Fair, definitely. Vishal bhai, if you want to say something.
Hi, thanks, Malhar bhai. So I just wanted to add few points which I was observing through, all over the conversation. So very first thing, when we say the faster content consumption and as compared to what we say the content is better. So here I would say we can take references, we can utilize the AI content or maybe AI to get some ideas what exactly is going on around in the space, and then we can of course create some better content with the help of it. So it might help us that we are not missing any kind of point to the context which we are setting via our blog or any content piece. Secondly, also I would say, rather than consuming the content directly, I would say if a quick fact check is applied whenever we are publishing a content, that will add more value to the content which is going to be published. So yeah, so that was what I was willing to share. And yeah, one more thing also, Parth was referring, how we should utilize the let's say if there is an agency who are planning to publish say 50 pieces of content, probably for one single client, let's say. So one way can be like, whenever we are going to start the first piece of content. So one way what we can do is we can set a context in the very first piece of the content, and then we can start publishing the other pieces. So that will also increase the inquisitiveness of what is going to be published in the another piece of content. And yeah, so it will also refer give reference to your past blogs as well. So yeah, that's what I was willing to share here.
Okay, right. Thank you. Deepali or Shruti, if you want to add.
Yeah. Um, I agree to my experience. I do agree that UX user experience will definitely play a very big role over here is in the current SEO field. But when it comes to brand authority and review, with that high quality content will be very good for the brand or uh, the lower quality content. I feel yes, definitely higher quality content, because the content which we'll be building would be the evergreen and a much more relevant, well researched content compared to lower quality content. And the longevity of that content will be more. And definitely in future may not be like SEO, we don't see the result absolutely just instantly. In the long run, that kind of content will be more helpful than the low quality content. Also, we have a new update that WEAT. So I feel all these things will add up to that thing only. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Just wanted to add here the EEAT point, and there's a whole PDF on Google's quality raters guideline. It's a 36 to 40 pages PDF available publicly. I think so. There are two ways to go about it. A, if you have existing content published, like you can train your model using that PDF using AI tools and ask it to evaluate your existing content, or you can prepare your own set of guidelines using that Google's quality raters guideline and assess the content that you are producing along the way. So that also can be integrated now with the help of AI tools. Like you don't have to go and read the whole 36 40 pages.
Sure. I think we have. I have just added Pramod also here. So Pramod, if you have a question or a perspective, please do. Pramod, if you are talking, you are on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, folks. Very interesting talk. I'm a co-founder of a AI first software company, and it's very niche areas that we're working on. My thoughts are: I've been a journalist, I've been a trained media person, and I've seen the waves of online, mobile, everything coming. Okay, so I think two to three things I would like to kind of put here. One is we have to realize that the AI world is here and it's not going to, we can't do a reverse care of it. Acceptance of that reality will help us to kind of give a new thought process in our minds. Number two, we have to get into the world of collaboration with ourselves. And that thought goes towards how can I create my own digital twin by first starting to dump my thought process, my words, my way of thinking into creating a digital twin for myself. And both of us start creating some great content. That's capturing the thought as a digital process. And the third is how do I collaborate with myself and how do I collaborate with AI? The whole point of this should be that we are in a place where we will keep using AI, just like any other smartphone today we are using for this process. How do we kind of make use of it the best way, right? It's no more if we get something good if we do AI, but how do we get the best by doing AI, right? I think if we can move towards engaging with each other to produce the best or move the best way with AI, uh, that would be stop that would kind of help us dump the weight of whether AI or not, should I use AI, all those things by the side, and be free to use this, because if not most, many are using, and tomorrow it'll be most will be using this for content. How do we kind of be in that world? And of course, going forward, all the generations will use AI. Yeah, just wanted to share these thoughts. Thank you. Nice talk.
Thank you so much. Deepali, you want to share a thought?
Yeah, so Pramod's opinion reminded me of the, like, especially about mentioning creating a digital twin. It reminded me of the video I watched yesterday by Ali Abdul, a famous YouTuber who is, who talks about productivity, how he uses AI. So where he mentioned about he and his team has created a voice AI for their internal use. So where for writing his newsletter, how he use, voice recording to put his ideas across, and then how he can that AI that he has created, that would ask a relevant question, and then, then he would answer to those prompts, and then those prompts he can directly upload it to the newsletter or to the Notion, and where he can more edit, find in the content, and then he can directly send out that newsletter to his subscribers. I will share the video here, but it's like very interesting. Thank you, Pramod, for sharing that. And I love the idea. And there is an app called Otter AI, where we can explore that. I have not started using it, but I'm, thinking, okay, I should get into the process of, putting my thoughts through this. So, and it will also generate the notes. So you can, okay, make it cohesive, and afterwards.
Yeah. Sorry to, just button. See, one of the thought that we all have to work on is how do I use AI? Not AI use me, but how do I use AI? And the first thing, we all have that weapon, the phone that we're using, and the app within that phone. Every phone has a default app, the voice recorder. Any thought, any meeting, any phone call that you're doing and where you think you are exchanging information and knowledge, have that voice recorder app on your home screen, and before you start, say start recording, and then stop recording. There are n number of services that will give you transcribe you these aspects. One of them is turboscribe.ai, which gives you 30 minutes every day, which would be for most of us enough. So where by doing that, you're at least not letting go of the knowledge and thoughts that you have on an everyday basis, right? That is the first step. If you do not do that, then basically you've not captured your thoughts, and you've not started building your own digital twin. And what Deepali mentioned is called as workflow automation, where you interact. Any kind of workflow can be built with low code, no code tools today. It could be online, offline, N8N, Flowwise, Relevancy AI, Make.com. All these guys help you build this thing. In fact, our application, we did India's first AI enabled surgical conference, India's first AI enabled pediatric conference, India's first global summit of Thai Global Summit. So we captured, hundreds and thousands of words, and we've generated artifacts on the fly, right? And this is the world we are getting into. So the first step has to be definitely for all of us. My humble request: keep your voice recorder app in the home screen, and whenever you're doing any kind of conversation, start recording, stop recording, and get the transcript done. and dump it into notebook LM, right? It and ask questions about it, right? This is the way we can keep improving ourselves, and this is the artificial intelligence way of doing things from now, right? Start thinking about how can I have AI first thought process. Thank you.
Wow, we couldn't have had a better conversation on this particular topic, and I guess I'll hold on to your line that let us all become AI first, and 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 that is, I guess, the way forward indeed. But the challenge here, right? And I'll go on the other side of this entire intent behind having this conversation was, while all of us get used to the entire AI first world, the challenge is becoming the low quality of conversations and low quality of content coming in, because now the access to information is so easy, right? The the contextuality of information, or to derive the contextuality of an information, is so easy. Yesterday, see, or say few days, few years back, or probably a year back, if you get a doctor's report, for you as a human to understand that, you actually needed to go to an expert doctor and say, okay, please help me decipher this report. Today you can load the same report on a chat GPT or some relevant AI tool, and you can get that information. So the contextualization has become so easy. The example I mentioned was a good part, but the bad part is I can probably take that information and push it on my Instagram, push it on my social media, and again say, okay, now you know, this is, if you have this problems, this is probably, this is something that has happened to you, right? So my quality of information is extremely low, because I am just deciphering some information, passing it along, without me being an expert of that particular topic. So that is that thin low value content, right? So, and that probably is impacting the trust in brands or trust in people. uh I don't know, because I wanted to end the thought on this, that okay, probably are we noticing this loss of trust, not just in brands but in people also, because of low value content.
Yep, I think so. We are close to wrap. We can take probably one last conversation. Yes, Deepali, if you want to add your thoughts.
I think, yeah, this would happen, that because of producing a lot of low quality content, people would eventually lose trust in the creator. On the other hand, the other trend I see is that creators are moving to Substack, and they are charging, 5 euros or 10 euros per month for their content. So they are going behind paywall. I think this trend is also will also become like mainstream. And I mean, why not? If you provide genuine experience, genuine thing, value, people will pay for that. I also pay for at least for two newsletter. I pay 5 euros a month, and because they save me a lot of headache, and I know this creator is gonna give me a more than 5 euros of worth tips. So it is good to spend those 5 euros. It will save me my time. So why not?
Um, Folks, all of you are writing content. One thing what I would request you is please be on the cutting edge of understanding what kind of tools, technology, and features that AI tools are building, like ChatGPT or any of the AI systems. One of them was deep research. Now it comes with links. Now whether it's human written or AI written, it has resources, meaning to say links. So now we were speaking previously about I will have resources that the web resources that I've used as part of it, but AI is able to do it, right? Now the other one is newsletters. I have a ChatGPT premium version, and it gives me a newsletter of my requirement every day, 9 o'clock, 10 news items, right? Generated by with links to resources from where it has generated. So now we have to look at the newsletter subscription and aspect. Third is the chat OpenAI released operator. Operator is within ChatGPT, a web browser opens. I want to book a flight. I want to buy something. It does. Now, where is SEO optimization in this operator scenario, right? So we have to be abreast and in knowledge of the evolving landscape of how the business of SEO and content is going to get affected with the AI system that they are doing. Operator is they opened up in US, and the time it probably opens up in India, I may be ordering something through a prompt in ChatGPT for Amazon or for Flipkart. It will do all the operations and have it delivered. So I'm not going to search for it anymore. So how will my SEO and my digital agency get affected? Right. So let this be in the aspect of technology is evolving. It's one in a lifetime for us. If we are aware and if we have this thought on which way the technology is heading towards, yes, we will be accommodative and we will grow with it. If we are going to fight through it, that would be another road that we will take, and probably that might end up somewhere else. My humble request would be on top of which way, which direction this technology is headed, so that we adjust to this. Right? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. I think we have just enough time. Mustafa, you want to quickly squeeze in your thoughts here?
As part of myself, this is a great show, and as part of myself, I think I've been working in an agency, and there are two questions that I wanted to ask. The first question is that how LLM based searching will change things for content writing, and the second thing is how do we take content approach in 2025, like expertise based content I'm talking about. So how can we do that? So these are my two questions.
I think so. The second question has been already answered in this session. In the same link, like you'll find the recording. So probably you will have to go through it, and you'll be able to get the answer. We already discussed it. The answer to your first question is the answer is not yet clear. We'll get to know as it works, but I think so. So far, what we know is that these LLM based searches are going to replace a lot of human activities for sure. So that is what the understanding is at this point of time. But yeah, if you have any other thoughts to share, you can drop a tweet with hashtag SEO Talk. We would like to answer it probably
Okay.
in detail. Yeah.
Thank you. Sure, I will do that. Thank you, Parth, for your time.
Okay, brilliant. It was a wonderful session indeed, and I'm sure all of you have gained some better understanding since we started the session. So probably between this last 1 hour, we have had enough details on fast content is okay, but quality still matters. I'm saying this with a pinch of salt because I know to our customers we will still go back and say, okay, no, you need to produce more content. So let us figure out the best way forward. The answer, I guess, still lies in the middle. You want to produce content, maybe little at a higher scale, not too much fast, ensuring quality is still there. Otherwise, I don't think you have a chance to probably rank your content unless you have some tricks up your sleeve which you don't want to share here. All right. Saying that, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. It was so wonderful to have all of you